Let's continue today with one of the chapter of history. But before going to the root of this chapter, let us connect it with the last chapter we did. In the last chapter, if I talk about history, we learned about due to the cruel policies like subsidiary alliance, then annexation policy, then Permanent Settlement Act, right? Then Diwani rights. Due to all these policies of Britishers, the agriculture and peasants has to suffer a lot. They had to have the debt to pay the taxes, and they were not able to pay that debt to the landlords, and finally they lost their land and they became poorer. In the same manner, we also study that the condition of agriculture, in the same way the condition of industries was also very pitiable. There were no taxes levied on the commodities coming from Europe, but there were heavy taxes up to 80% levied on the things manufactured in India. So as a result, what was happened? That Indian goods became costly in India itself. So in this manner, all the industries could not withstand the competition and all these industries collapsed. So in this manner, agriculture scattered, industries scattered, people became poorer, and as a result, we were very much filled with hatred and anger. Right? Now one of the positive things happened due to all this was nationalism arose in our country. Peoples were dissatisfied. A large scale dissatisfaction arose. As the people were dissatisfied, what they will lead to? They will lead to the revolt of 1857. So right from here, now the history continues, and now we will be having the revolt or the freedom movement of 1857. The freedom movement of 1857, or we can also say it as the revolt of 1857, is the first revolt. Revolt means to fight back. Is the first revolt we did with Britishers to attain freedom. So in this chapter, we are going to learn about the reasons for the outbreak of the revolt. What was the revolt? And finally, what was the result of the revolt? So let us continue with reasons for the outbreak of revolt. What basically were the reasons responsible for we as an Indian to have the revolt with Britishers? The first and the utmost reason is social and religious reason. They tried to make many changes into our society, into our religion. They were trying to convert us into Christianity, right? Which was the religious factor. Along with it, they even made certain changes in the structure of society. Okay, at that time, the peoples belonged to very orthodox beliefs. So whatever changes they made were not acceptable by our society and religion, right? So those people who were very much dissatisfied with the things happened into our society and religion were agreed to join the revolt. This is how this has become one of the reasons have the outbreak of the revolt of 1857. Right? The second such reason is economic reasons. As the term suggests, economic means people were financially ruined. We had just talked about, even we discussed in detail in the last chapter of history, that peoples were financially ruined. They were destroyed. How they were destroyed? Agriculture scattered, industries scattered. So there were no sources for the income for Indians. Right? So the large mass of people were having the economic dissatisfaction, which became the reason for revolt. Let's move towards the third one. Third one is political reasons. Again, as the name suggests, as the term suggests, political reason means we in India used to have the self-rule into our villages since ages. Their political structure was such that our self-rule system totally was destroyed and they became our rulers. After becoming our rulers, they were having immense amount of cruelty on us. Right? So what happened? The root of Indian administration, which was considered as self-rule. Each and every village was having its own self-rule in the name of Panchayat. That was totally destroyed now. Right? And they became our rulers. Even they were not the good rulers. So again, political shifting of powers became one of the reasons for outbreak of the revolt. Fourth reason is the military reason. We had discussed about this in the prior chapter also, repeating the same with some additional features. Military reasons are obviously related to military. Those who were Indians who were working in the military of Britishers to earn money, there was large amount of cruelty there also. Right? We as an Indians were always allowed to be the part of root soldiers only. Now what do you mean by root soldiers? The last category of soldiers who would be doing the petty works like cleaning of the arms and amendments, cooking, cleaning, washing clothes. Are you getting? So that kind of works were offered to us. One. Second, no higher posts for the promotion are offered to Indians. All the higher posts of military are to be given to Britishers only. Again, the kind of the system which is not acceptable. Adding fuel to the fire, there was a large difference in the salary offered to the Indian soldier and British soldier. There was a ratio of 6:1 in the army. 6 Indian soldiers and 1 British soldier. So can I say that Indians were more in the military? In spite of having the Indians more in the military, the salary offered to us at that time was 7 rupees per month to Indian. Right? They were offering only 7 rupees per month as a Indian, right? And 150 rupees per month to British militant, right? In spite of doing the same work on the same category, there was a large difference in salary, which is again not acceptable, right? One more problem which Indians were facing in military was that during that time, peoples were very orthodox. One of the belief, a blind faith, which was prevalent at that time was Indians do not cross sea. If any Indian crosses the sea and goes overseas, then after when they will come back, the religion to which they belong, they will not accept them. Why they will not accept them? Because crossing sea, right? Crossing sea is considered to be a sin, right? Now Britishers were knowing this, that Indians do not cross sea. That is not allowed into their religion. They force us, being the part of the military, that you have to cross the sea, you have to go to the other country to have the fight and then come back if you are alive. Are you getting? So what was the problem? They were intentionally sending us overseas, which wasn't accepted by our religion. Right? And finally, this all became a large problem for the persons who were the part of military. Right? So those who were dissatisfied in the military, they all become ready to join the revolt. One of the reasons for the outbreak of the revolt. Adding fuel to the fire again. One more and the very strange, immediate reason took place. Now what was this immediate reason? Immediate means on the spot. So these all were already the problems which were going on. Adding fuel to the fire, one more thing, something has happened that gave more courage to the Indians to have the revolt. Now let's see what was that immediate reason. In the month of January 1857, there was an introduction of Enfield rifle. Now you all know rifle means what? A kind of a gun, right? But this Enfield rifle had to have one amendment, is to be loaded into the rifle and then rifle can be used. Now the ammunition that is to be loaded is having a cartridge fit in it. Cartridge is an opening. Sometimes you might have seen in the pictures that certain military officers would be biting a cartridge and then throwing the bomb. I'm talking about the same structure. In the same manner, the ammunition which is to be loaded in the Enfield rifle was having the cartridge, a kind of a pin, fit into it. But when this cartridge was having fit into the ammunition, a bomb-like thing, it was greased with fat. Right? Now this fat is a kind of a grease. Right? And I can say that a cartridge was having, let's say it was like a bomb structure. Yeah, right? Here they would be having a pin-like structure. Right? Now this pin, when fit with this ammunition, it was greased with fat. non-veg item made up from cow, and pork is obtained from the meat of pig. Hindus don't eat anything made up of beef. In the same manner, Muslims don't eat pork. And the grease was made up of the fat of beef and pork, which was to be fit into this ammunition. So what happened? All the military of Britishers, those who were Indians, denied to use Enfield rifle. Right? Britishers were forcing to use this Enfield rifle, and all the Indians, those who were the part of military of Britishers, denied that as the cartridge is made up of beef and pork, which is very much non-veg item, we will not bite it with our mouth. And this became an immediate reason for the revolt. Right? So this is how there were basically 5 reasons responsible. 5th one was an immediate one. So in the year 1857, we decided to have the revolt with Britishers for the first time. Right? Hope you all have understood all the 5 reasons. Well, rest we will take in the next lecture. Thank you so much.
आभार।